daily Marvel Snap video. We're going to talk about what I really think about Sandman. We're going to go over 4 different YouTube videos that I thought were very good, or at least thought-provoking, and also helpful to the overall philosophy that I have for Marvel Snap. And then also, we're going to talk about matchmaking, what the developers have said, how matchmaking works. We're also going to talk about the way the community feels that matchmaking works, specifically when you switch decks. And we're also going to look into some pretty crazy patents that I actually don't think that Marvel Snap is using. First things first, I want to talk about 2 high-level concepts that I'm seeing from 2 different YouTuber streamers that I have a high opinion of. And the first one is KM Best. So you have seen me play many different Shuri builds on this channel. I have climbed like crazy with Shuri, and then one day she just stopped working as well as she once was working, mostly because of Death Wave running everywhere. So this is what happens in the game, is that a meta starts, people figure it out, people understand how it's telegraphed, and then they run counters. And Death Wave is an amazing counter to the Shuri decks because it runs Arrow and Shang-Chi. What I have found is that KM Best has an amazing way of taking a deck list, stripping out the cute cards, and making it more powerful. For example, in this build right here, he got rid of Ebony Maw, he got rid of Arnim Zola, and he just added quality, low-cost utility cards like Titania, which is a high skill cap. Boy, she's a hard card to play. Armor, great utility. Cosmo, great utility. And Polaris, great utility. So if you're in a situation right now where you've been playing Shuri Zero and you feel like you've hit a wall and it's just not working well anymore, I highly recommend this build. I was able to go up to 127 with this build. Crazy stuff. I think I went up almost 7 ranks in about 2 hours, and the stats are very good. Now, another strategy that I also think is very good, and I feel like everybody has different play styles. Another player that I highly regard is Educated Collins, and he presented a deck that uses Sandman, and I tried it, and I think it's a very good build. I have nothing against this build. Now, Educated Collins has a very different approach. He likes to play into the anti-meta, and he's also a very smart player. For example, one of his favorite cards is Scarlet Witch, and he loves to use Scarlet Witch as a surprise card on the last turn to change a lane for the win, and he gets tons of cubes doing it. His videos are absolutely fascinating when it comes to deck building and theory crafting. However, his favorite deck right now is this Sandman build, and I just want to say Sandman is not for me. I could not get it to work effectively. I don't think I'm as smart of a player as him, frankly, and Sandman just didn't work out for me, and I really struggled with it. And I just want to say, I think that a good player can make a card like Sandman work. And what I found is that this build right here has a slightly below average win rate for the general public and a slightly below average cube rate. And that worries me, because if the smartest players are getting average returns, then what is someone like me going to get? I really think that Sandman needs a buff. I think him going to 2 would change nothing and he'd be more viable. In general, players that have the snap.fan app tracker installed are more engaged than the average player that plays maybe 20 minutes a day on the toilet or something like that. They just are going to be potentially more engaged, potentially better players. And those players, even though it's a small sample size, won when played. 193rd place out of 200 cards, win drawn. 188th place out of 200 cards. In the deck, 176th place when he's played in a deck. So for me, Sandman is high skill cap. It probably takes a better player than me, and that's not really what this channel is about. This channel is about providing deck lists and ideas and strategies that are going to work for everyday players, let's say, or players like me that can do well when they run optimized builds. And I think it's just a different strategy. I really, really, really want Sandman to work. I believe that there need to be counters in the game. I don't feel like a card like Sandman would ruin somebody's experience any differently than the way Killmonger or Shang-Chi or Enchantress ruins somebody's experience. There needs to be counters. And I feel like Sandman could and should be a viable counter for sure. Also, very important video here from Binks. Love Binks, love his energy, love his videos. And he talks about never hitting infinite and how it's not important to him. And I feel like people too much emphasis on getting to infinite at times. I know I have. I feel like I'm a competitive type player, and it doesn't need to be that way. I think the game should be fun, and I really liked this video, and I just got a good vibe and a good feeling from him, and watching his enthusiasm and the way that he switched decks every day as well. And then lastly, I saw a video from Jeff Hoagland, who I feel is also a very smart player. Wong is trash, explaining why Wong is trash in Marvel Snap. I knew what his video was going to be about as soon as I clicked on it, because I said this a couple days ago. These complicated 3-card combos are just telegraphed, and better players know how to work around them. And the 2 examples that I gave in my video from a couple days ago is that Invisible Woman into MODOK into Hela is just easy for a high-end player to counter. At best, they retreat and you get a cube. At worst, they steal a lot of cubes from you by playing a counter of some kind, like Cosmo. And he goes into the same detail about Wong. And the other example that I gave in my video is the Wong Black Panther Arnim Zola combo. Very powerful, ridiculous when it pops off. But most players know what's coming, and you just get a cube, or they steal cubes from you by playing Cosmo or something like that. And I just liked the way that he put it in this video. Now we're going to talk about matchmaking. And I want to say that I'm trying to not go conspiracy theory on this. And I choose to believe the developers over at Second Dinner are telling the truth when they say this, but there is so much anecdotal evidence out there, and it doesn't feel like confirmation bias. Does the matchmaking use machine learning? And Ben Brode says, no, the matchmaker cannot see your deck, nor does it use machine learning. And I wanted to explore this because in general, the community does not feel this way. And I've seen this myself. I suspected for a long time that our individual cards have an MMR assigned to them. This would keep the top tier decks balanced and in check. The goal is a 50% win rate. I actually think their goal is 53% win rate. And I think they use bots to give people a 53% win rate. I could go into it in another video, but I actually think it's 53%. If certain cards are excessively good, just match them against each other. I've noticed it too. I play a bad homebrew deck and suddenly I'm matched against weird things I've never seen before. Switch to Death Wave or something, and it's mirror matches all day. I don't think it's confirmation bias. Another comment right here. I play a ton of games with Leech Leader that 1 month, and I play a lot of Zabu the month he was popular. When you play 1,000 games with the one kind of deck, you see patterns. I feel like the developers not only nerf overpowered cards, but they also have hidden nerfs. For example, lower the percentage of a card goes into your deck to your hand. Have Zabu not come out until turn 4. They could program a location that hurt Leader or Zabu to appear more often. And then if I win 3 in a row, I get a bot opponent with the perfect counter to my meta deck. That could be possible. And I'm going to talk about why, but I don't think it is true. There are actually patents developed by other video games that actually do exactly what this person is saying. What effect do you think it has when low-ranked players throw hundreds, thousands of dollars into the game and have the best Series 5 cards in the game? I'm ranked 40, and most of my opponents have the last overpriced bundle avatar. Even if the MMR would take the collection level into consideration, it's not even relevant anymore because of the token shop and all these whales being able to buy tokens through the bundle. So they have low rank, low collection levels, but the best meta decks. And I kind of disagree with this, but I do think it's a valid point of view. I think being pool 3 complete is a much bigger issue than the 4 or 5 cards. Frankly, the most 3 OP cards aren't Series 5. Arrow She-Hulk are Series 3 and Shuri is Series 4. Everyone will be Series 3 complete after playing the game daily for, let's say, 6 months. And that actually gets longer because they keep adding cards into Series 3. And I don't know how much longer that's going to make, but it feels like it could be longer than that by the time everybody gets there. Or you could spend about $1,000 and be done with Pool 3 in, let's say, 6 to 8 weeks. And I feel like the game is kind of in a weird place right now for people that are not Series 3 complete, because the collection token system is just generally useless until you are Series 3 complete. I believe on average, a person inside of Series 3 or that is not Pool 3 complete is getting about 1,000 collector tokens a month. And then once you are Series 3 complete, then you're getting about 5,000-6,000. And so that creates a good situation when you are Series 3 complete. For example, if you're a Battle Pass player, this month there was MODOK. Then there are 3 cards being released, and I can pick one because I get enough tokens to pick one for free. So I'm going to pick Kane. And then I'm not able to get the 2 other cards that are coming out, not able to get Stature, not able to get Ghost. Now, it gets super expensive if I wanted those other cards. If I want to get every card the day they come out, I have to spend about $400. And is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. But I know that by purchasing MODOK and getting one card, I spend $10. I get half of the cards that are introduced to the game for $10 versus somebody that wants 4 of the cards, all of the cards. I get 2 cards for $10. They get 4 cards for about $410. And I don't think that system is fully flushed out, or people are not experiencing that because right now they are stuck in Pool 3 and they just feel like they don't have any cards. Eventually they will. Now, this is where matchmaking gets weird, is that there are patents by other games, and this is a patent by Activision. I'm just going to read the abstract here. A system and a method is provided that drives microtransactions in multiplayer video games. This system may include microtransaction arranged matches to influence game-related purchases. For instance, the system may match a more expert marquee player with a junior player to encourage the junior player to make game-related purchases of items possessed used by the marquee player. A junior player may wish to emulate the marquee player by obtaining weapons or other items used by the marquee player. For 2 things, I think that's super slimy and absolutely horrific. I don't think that Second Dinner is doing that. And frankly, if they are, I hope that Activision sues them because they've got the patent. I hope Activision keeps this patent to themselves and never lets another game use it, because that is slimy, atrocious. This is public record. This is public record, the patent filings. And of course, Activision claims they don't use it. But why do they create it? Matchmaking system and method for multiplayer games. Another patent by Activision. A matchmaking system and method is provided that facilitates optimization of player matches for multiplayer video games. This system may provide a generalized framework for matchmaking using historical player data and analytics. The framework may facilitate automatic determinations of an optimal mix of players and styles to produce the most satisfying user experience. The system may dynamically update analytical process based on statistical and otherwise observed data related gameplay at any given time. That doesn't sound super terrible. In one implementation, the microtransaction engine may target particular players. This is further down in the same patent filing, to make game-related purchase based on their interests. For example, a microtransaction engine may identify a junior player to match them with a marquee player based on player profile of the junior player. In a particular example, the junior player may wish to become an expert sniper in a game. The microtransaction engine may match the junior player with a player that is a highly skilled sniper in the game. In this matter, the junior player may be encouraged to make game-related purchases of a rifle or other item used by a marquee player. This also, they actually talk about NPCs and bots in this article. I didn't screenshot it, but they actually talk about using NPCs and bots to facilitate these type of things as well. In one implementation, when a player makes game-related purchase, the microtransaction engine may encourage future purchases by matchmaking the player in a gameplay session that will utilize game-related purchase. Doing so may enhance the level of enjoyment by the player for game-related purchase, which may encourage future purchases. For example, if the player purchased a particular weapon, the microtransaction engine may match the player in a gameplay session in which the particular weapon is highly effective, giving the player an impression that the particular weapon was a good purchase. I don't know, man. This stuff really bothers me. And then they talk about winning streaks and lose streaks. For example, if a player is on a losing streak with the past several gaming sessions, analytics and feedback may cause the coefficient-related player skill level to become more important. This results, for example, the player being pitted against lower-skilled opponents or teamed against higher-skilled players to increase the chance the player will win, otherwise perform better. This makes me sad. And I really hope that Second Dinner does not engage in these type of behaviors. Also, I just wanted to point out something kind of interesting, and this has to do with Nexus and the way that Nexus works. Basically, if any reason you see that there are two Nexus on the field, always go after the Nexus on the left. And the reason for that is locations resolve left or right, so the power of the first Nexus gets added to the second one, and then the second one triggers and adds this extra power again. The cycle stops here to prevent an infinite loop. Always stack the leftmost Nexus, and you can see they lost even though they had more power on the right Nexus. Also, play Heimdall, win the game. Oh my God, I gotta tell you something. Putting Heimdall into a random deck just wins sometimes. I lost 8 cubes the other day to a random Heimdall, and I fist bumped them. I was like, well played, sir. That is a very interesting surprise card. I think it's fantastic. Oh my God. They won Mojo World with just outright with a Black Panther. You get 100 extra points and they just had a big enough Black Panther to win it without the 100-point Mojo World bonus. And then lastly, we've got a situation here where M'Baku lost the game. Man, I have no interest in M'Baku. I know he's dropping here, but I'm more interested in Agent Coulson than M'Baku. So now it's time for the giveaway. I really hope you liked today's video, because if you did, you're in luck. For every single person that likes this video, you will be getting this super duper special Shuri fan-made variant. This is not a scam. I like this. Oh my God, Shuri. I like Shuri, right? Look at this. Marvel Snap fan art by You Revolutionary. You got She-Hulk, you got Cosmo. I guess that's Armor. You got Zero hanging out back there. You got Arnim Zola and Black Panther. And Shuri just says game over. Let me know what you think about all this conspiracy theory stuff and matchmaking. And as always, thanks for watching. Keep on gaming. Bye for now.